petrified.
Who are you?
Ghosts of smugglers and terrified investigators. 24 hours at the Mermaid Inn.
What's just happened?
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. This beautiful cobbled street is situated in the old town of Rye in East Sussex. Now it's home to the very famous Mermaid Inn. Now it's famous for two reasons. One, its history, and two, its ghosts.
The Mermaid Inn was built in the 11th century and has a colourful history. With its crooked, dark, twisting corridors, 5 haunted bedrooms and secret passageways, it's difficult not to be taken back in time to the days when the notorious Hawkshurst smugglers reigned terror in the village of Rye.
There are at least 8 ghosts here that staff members and guests have encountered. By spending 24 hours here, will the Most Haunted team encounter any of them? Now, Jason Carl, our parapsychologist, is joining us as usual. Jason, tell us a little bit about haunted objects.
Well, they're particularly relevant to here because there's supposedly a haunted object in the Mermaid Inn. Haunted objects themselves are where either the object itself is haunted or the object moves. Now, an object obviously is different to a human being. It's never been sentient, so it's a little bit of a controversial subject even in ghost lore. But the idea is that an object itself becomes impregnated with a human aura. The bioelectric energy field that all humans have is impregnated into a physical object. Then when a psychic touches that physical object, they can pick up on the aura of somebody who's been connected to it. That's the theory. Now, within the Mermaid Inn, there's one of the bedrooms upstairs, a rocking chair. Now, many people who've stayed in the room have actually awoken during the night and heard and seen the rocking chair moving of its own accord. So you could describe that as a haunted chair, if you will. Now, sometimes a ghost has been seen in the chair as it's rocking, other times just the chair on its own, and so much so that several years ago they actually had to take the chair completely out of the inn because it was upsetting so many people.
But we've brought it back in, haven't we, for tonight?
We have. Put it in the same room, put it back in situ, and we'll see if the ghost returns to be rocking during the evening.
Now, what about the 2 chairs? There's a good luck chair and a bad luck chair, aren't there?
Yeah.
Tell us the story about that.
Well, this is a nice story, and it is just a story. I was talking to Judith, who owns the inn now, and she told me that when she took over the inn 8-10 years ago, these 2 chairs were already here. They were part of the building. One of them looks like a goat's head, and it's got feet on it as if goats' hooves. Now, goats as a symbol are associated with satanic worship. The chair itself probably is nothing to do with satanic worship, but because of its symbolism, it's been called the bad luck chair, and anyone who sits in it is supposed to have bad luck. Now, there's also a good luck chair, which is not connected to the chair, it's just completely separate. That's the good chair, the goat is the bad chair. There's one story, I mean, I was talking earlier on about this, and we couldn't perhaps come up with too many instances of bad luck occurring, but there is one. There was a school group who came here, as they often do, and were being shown around. They were shown the good luck chair and the bad chair, and one girl who sat in the bad luck chair went out and broke her leg. And they associated this with the chair. Now, if she hadn't sat in the chair, she probably would have broken her leg anyway, but because she sat in the chair, they made that association with the 2 things. It's probably just a coincidence.
But what I can't understand is, why do people want to take a chance anyway?
It's fun, it's a risk.
What will our usual team make of the Mermaid Inn and its ghosts? Will our spiritualist medium Derek Akora, who knows nothing about our location, unravel the mysteries of this traditional inn?
When we first bought the hotel, we went through a stage where we had to man the place by ourselves, and it was very scary, being the only knowing that you were the only person in the entire building. Over the years, it always seems to be the same 5 rooms in the hotel that people seem to have seen or felt something in, which to my mind is a bit strange considering we have 31 rooms. It's not written anywhere, and people all do seem to see the same things in the same 5 rooms. The weirdest one I ever came across was I came on duty one morning and there was a couple fast asleep in the lounge on the couch, and they refused to go back upstairs to the room because, again, they'd seen a figure walk through one wall out of another. We had to bring all their belongings down, and they actually got changed in the public lavatory. They refused to go back upstairs, they were so scared. Before we actually bought the hotel, there was a barman who was slightly dubious about, well, he did believe in ghosts, I think, but one of the stories was that the Obviously, the dueling couple back in room 16, the body was thrown down the secret passage, and the secret passage comes out in the bar. And he was stoking the fire one day, and all the bottles came off the shelf. And he actually just left his bow tie and left. You know, we never saw him again. Walking along the corridors and believing that there's someone ahead of me, and when you open the door, there's no one there. And several of us here have had the same thing. Until I physically see something, I'll always be a bit dubious, but it's the fact that the people who do say they've seen things are so normal. Your first reaction is to check the bill, have they been drinking, or there's something strange about them, but they do seem so normal. I would say the majority of people stay here just because they love the building. I don't think people come back if they feel something horrible. It's something different, and people are looking for something different.
This chair has been seen moving on its own so many times, but who's rocking it? Well, it could be the ghost of the young girl that used to work here in the 1700s. It's said that she was once in love with a smuggler but was killed by his accomplices, so she didn't give any of their secrets away. But now the chambermaids that work here refuse to come in on their own. They only work in this room in pairs. Can you imagine being fast asleep in this bed only to wake up and find the ghost of a man in old-fashioned clothes sitting at the foot of your bed? Well, that's exactly what happened to a guest in this particular room. She was so terrified that she actually dragged the mattress off this bed and pulled it through into the other room and refused to come out until the morning. A psychic and her friend were spending the night in this room. Oddly enough, the friend woke up in the middle of the night to discover two men dressed in doublet and hose having a duel. The victor then dragged his opponent's body and threw it down the secret stairwell. Oddly enough, the psychic never awoke.
What we're just doing here is setting up a small temperature monitoring device. Not only will this monitor the temperature, but also the humidity in the room. I'm in the Elizabethan room, and I'm just setting up a camera to watch these flowers which have moved off this chair in the past. I'm in the Kingsmill suite where this rocking chair has been seen rocking of its own accord, so I'm setting up a camera to watch that throughout the night, and also an electromagnetic field meter which will measure any unusual fluctuations.
So with all our equipment set up and ready to go, and the arrival of our medium Derek Okora, we were nearly ready to start our investigation. We decided to have a quick chat before the long night ahead.
There's not a horrible feel to this place at all. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's really nice now, but it wasn't.
Don't listen, you. Shush. Don't you just sit in the corner and not say anything at all.
I mean, if anyone ever asks, they say, "Are you haunted?" I usually say only in October.
Why?
Well, that's, I think, when most people have said they've seen something.
In
and
October?
also you've got Halloween as
So
well.
it's Halloween,
so.
yeah. Well, statistically, that's the most sort of potent time for ghost sightings. That's
Why?
But then you've got Halloween, so people expect to see things. So people are looking for things and maybe explaining experiences being paranormal, which perhaps in July or August they wouldn't think a ghost. It's because it's near Halloween, it's dark, leaves are on the ground, it's spooky, it's here, you've got winds blowing. So that might be all it is. Nothing necessarily to do with the paranormal.
Well, my beliefs on this sort of thing happening, as you both talked about October, close to Halloween, is because spirits are conscious people who are still conscious, still out of the physical body. Okay, and the spirits, no exception here, because there's a number of them. I would say that some of them, possibly with the personality traits, they thought, right, okay, it's expected of us. It's near Halloween, so let's do it. Let's, haunt the place. Let's either show ourselves or make feelings and what have you in certain rooms. Because there's 1, 2, 3. It's like activity in 3 rooms. Activity. And, I would say that, you've got spirits here. That's what I feel. Who maybe 2 out of the 3 are really, really, if they want to be, quite showmanshipy.
Obviously, this is your business, this is your living, and you own half of the building. What would you say to somebody who said ghost tourism makes money?
Yes.
And, it is helpful to have an attraction to the building, other than it's a beautiful building?
I don't think that's something we've ever had